Hi, this is Eric Elder, and welcome to this class on desktop publishing and publishing your own materials on the internet. We're going to be talking about how you can get your own materials out there, like books that you write. I've just got some samples here. This is a little book that I printed off at Amazon.com. It's called Ephesians Lessons in Grace, and it's a nicely bound paperback book. And what I did was simply create a PDF file on my desktop, and I uploaded it to Amazon and created a cover for it, and then they print it out. And this book is about 100 pages, and a 100-page book like this, to print it out for yourself, costs only about $3.50. And so you can upload your books to Amazon. They'll print it out for you. I've been doing this for a couple years now, and as people buy my books or order my books, I can just go to Amazon and type in the person's address of what they want. They can just buy it directly from Amazon if they want, and you just set the price that you want for the book. But if you want to, you can also mail out the book to people and just go to Amazon and type in somebody's address and mail it out to them. And you just push send, and off your book goes to Singapore or to Hong Kong or to South Dakota or wherever you want to send it to. So it's sort of a nice way and an inexpensive way to get books printed, and it's a very professional looking book, and it's just really nice. You can print books up to like 800 pages. Greg and I have done a book which is a collection of a number of books, and we've been able to print a book. I don't remember, Greg, how many pages it was, 800 and some pages, but it turned out to be a nice brick size book, and it really only cost us about $10, $12 per book to manufacture that through CreateSpace or Amazon. Their company that they own that does the publishing for them is called CreateSpace. Here's a few other books that I've done. This is Exodus Lessons in Freedom. This one's called Acts Lessons in Faith. They're all sort of different size books. I've kept them small size. You can do books as thin as 24 pages. This is a little 24-page booklet we produced for people that are going through grief, and if they have people that they know that are passing away, this is sort of a helpful book for them, but it's just a little tiny book of quotes. Then we have some larger books that we've done. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what you're going to be going for, what the goal is here. This is a larger format book, 8 by 10 size, and this is sort of an Israel devotional book with pictures, and you can do color, you can do black and white, but it's a nice devotional about Israel. And a couple of you are here just about doing the same process. You can do this for your music too. This is a CD that I created for my sister, Marilyn Burns. She's on the call with us as well today. And this is just a CD. You can upload your music, upload a cover file, or they have a little cover creator you can use, and they'll print out the CD, and this is $4.95 to get a copy for yourself. So that's a nice, effective way to get CDs. We've done about 10 CDs like this. This is some more of my sister's music, or this is another pianist that I know that writes some music, and we just recorded her. This is some of my own music that I've recorded on my piano at home, and I've uploaded to Amazon. And so you can do this with not only books, but if you have music, if you're a writer like that, you can do that. And as well, you can do DVDs. We did a little DVD for Israel, and they also produced this for $4.95. You can have one printed out and a DVD of whatever video that you want to do, and they put it in a nice box and they shrink wrap it for you. So it's amazing, really, that you can do this at all. It used to be, for me, when I wrote my first book, this was about 10 or 12 years ago, and I was at home photocopying and just trying to crank out books if people wanted them, and I would just photocopy them and staple them together and mail them out to people. And as people would order my book, it would be actually frustrating, or they'd order my CD, and it would be frustrating because it meant another 10, 15, 20 minutes of work to go and try to print out a CD or print out a book and do that for them and go find the mailers and get it to the post office. And it turned out it was like, was this really worth the $10 or whatever people sent for the book? But when you can do it through a place like Amazon, and there are some other companies I'll talk about too, but when you can do it so inexpensively through some of these other companies, and they do the printing, they do the mailing, they do the shipping, you don't even have to go in there and enter anything if you don't want to order it for people. I just order it for people because I'll make a little bit more on the sale if I do it myself. If they buy it direct through Amazon, Amazon takes a cut of it, which is fine. That's what they're there for. But I'll talk about some of those different ways to get it out. But if you just want to put your stuff out on Amazon, and let other people just go there and order it straight from there, they can do that. Let me just show you how it looks once it gets out on Amazon. I'm just going to pull up my screen and just tell me, are you seeing Amazon's website come up here? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Dwan says yes. Christopher says yes. Don, you're saying you're not getting it on the screen? Do you see my video on the screen?
Yes.
And it could be a function. You don't see it either? It could be a function of the speed of your internet connection, maybe. Let me double check. I can change a little thing. I'm going to share just my browser. Now I'm sharing just my browser and not my whole desktop. Does that help, Don? Do you see anything different?
Yes. Come on.
Okay. You can see it?
Wait.
Everybody else see it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good.
Are you looking at Kindle there?
Yeah, it says Kindle right at the front. Yep, you got it. Okay, thanks. So we're just at Amazon.com, and I'm just going to do a search on here for my books. I'll do Eric Elder, and you'll see it pulls up just like any other book on Amazon. Here's that first one that I showed you, Ephesians Lessons in Grace, and it says buy it new, $12.99, and I actually set that price myself. You just can pick your own price for your book. I've priced mine so it'll make about $5 per sale. Amazon takes about half, I believe, after printing costs. But we'll walk through that too. But here's mine. Here's Acts Lessons in Faith, the Israel videos. This is the DVD. Here's my CD. Here's some other books that I've done. We've done about a dozen books. So I'm just scrolling through. But you can see that it shows up on Amazon just like any other book would. You can look inside it. If you click on the Look Inside button, and it will pull it up. People can sort of browse through a few pages of their book. They can't see everything, but you can see if it's coming up on your screen here. We're just browsing through page number 6 of this book. People can add it to their cart, and they just check out just like normal through Amazon. And the time frame for all this is amazingly fast too. Once you upload your book, it really takes only 2 or 3 days before it's up and running on Amazon and people can be ordering. So from your time that you finish your book, you can have a printed copy and get it shipped back to you, and you can choose overnight shipping if you want, and just get it back the next day. So it's pretty phenomenal, and I hope you're excited about it. It's exciting to me, and just the process of doing is what we're going to focus on today. The books that I write, this is just a little tip on writing, because I know several of you, you are writers, and you've written to me saying that you're wondering, you haven't finished your book, or you're working on your book, and you just need some incentive. And I hope this class gives you some incentive to go ahead and finish it, because once you know you can have a published book at the end of it, it just really helps your psyche, I think. But what I do with my books, I send out a weekly devotional, and you can sign up at theranch.org and get my weekly devotional, and I mail it out. And so like this book on Exodus, I went through chapter by chapter, and one week I would focus on chapter 1 of the book of Exodus and talk about what it meant to me in my life and how it helped me through some situations in my life. And then the next week I read another chapter about chapter 2 and just give a little devotional about what chapter 2 was, and the next week I do chapter 3. And by the end of it, I've got 50 chapters of a book, and I upload it to Amazon, and I print it out, and I make it available for people if they'd like to have it in a book form. So what I try to do is, in my own writing, is writing each week and having an audience that's going to actually see it and expect it on Sunday mornings. Every week it sort of gets me some incentive to make sure that I'm writing each week, and at the end of it, I have a book done. And it might seem a little methodical to do it that way, but you can apply this to your music or to videos or anything else that I've heard a quote that one author said that he only writes when he's inspired, and he makes sure that he's inspired every morning by 10 o'clock. And I think that's helpful for us sometimes. We sometimes wait for that inspiration to write our book or to finish our book or to finish that CD, and it sometimes just takes years until that final inspiration comes. And it's not a lack of inspiration, it's usually just a lack of, you're just not ready to finally do that full push because it takes a lot of effort. But if you can somehow get yourself in a mode of writing on a regular basis or recording on a regular basis, I think that can really help and go a long way in finishing a project and getting it started and getting it finished. One other quick note here, there's a Write a Novel in a Month program that you can sign up for on the internet, and it's during the month of November. And this really helped me. One year I wanted to write a fictional novel, and I had the idea for several years, but knowing that some people were going to sort of keep track and watch, you can upload your progress during the month, and just to know that there's other people writing their novel at the same time was encouraging for me. And so I set aside the whole month of November, and I just started writing, and every day wrote and wrote and wrote, and tried to finish a 50,000 word novel. Now, I got done with about 30,000 words by the end of the month, but I was happy. It got me the good rough draft on the novel that I wanted to get published. And so even sometimes setting aside just a month of writing or a month of recording and say, I'm going to get a good first shot rough draft of this done can really be helpful for your writing. So this is sort of what happens in the end. You'll see that this is where we're going. Is we're going to try to publish your book on Amazon.com. You can also have your book published on places like BarnesandNoble.com, which I'm pulling up right now, BN.com, and if I type Eric Elder and do a search here, you'll also see the same books. Here's that Exodus book, and here's the top 20 passages in the Bible book, this Inspiring Thoughts collection. That's that big 800 collection volume of several books. But you can see this is all on Barnes & Noble. But I didn't actually have to go to Barnes & Noble and do this. You can do it all from Amazon. When you upload your book to Amazon, you can check a little box that says, make this available to other publishers as well. And then it goes to places like Barnes & Noble. And it's not that they'll stock the book in the Barnes & Noble stores for you, but it will list it on Barnes & Noble's website. And so everything that I'm showing you here today is something that you'll be able to do fairly easily, some of it with a click of a button just to add, and all of a sudden you're available in Barnes & Noble and other stores like that. So again, it's not that they're going to stock your book physically, but if somebody walks into Barnes & Noble and they ask for a book by Dwan Event, then it will show that they can get it for you, and they'll mail away for it and get it in the store if that person wants it, or you can just go to the website and order it. So I hope that's kind of exciting for you too, that your books will be published in various places. There's also a way that you can publish your books as ebooks, and they'll show up on the Amazon store or Barnes & Noble. You can buy a book for a Nook, an Apple's iBookstore, and that's going to be sort of our second half of the class today, showing how you can do the ebook portion of it. It's slightly different than doing the physical book, but hopefully you'll get a good look at both of the processes here. I'm just going to look over my notes here. Do you have any questions as we're getting started here, just on this general where we're going with the class? I see one of my notes here to myself is that it's easy to make changes to your book too. It used to be that you had to print like 1,000 copies of your book, just even 10 years ago, in order to get a price like $3 or $4 on your paperback book. And then you'd have a closet full of books, and if somebody found a mistake, after you sold the first 2 or 3 books, you have a closet full of books with a mistake. This way, on Amazon, if you find a mistake in your book, you just re-upload a new file, and the next day you've got a new book available. And so it's a nice way. I used to do a lot of editing on my books and have a number of people read through them to make sure everything was just right. But as it's been lately, I sort of just try to get it out there as good as I can and try to make it a nice product. But if I find a mistake and someone writes into me and says they've got a mistake, then I simply upload a new copy, and from that point on, people are seeing the new copy. Dwan, I see you had a question here. Let me go there. And Esther, you say you can't hear me, there's no sound. I'm sorry about that. I'm glad you could see me, but I'm sorry there's no sound. We'll hope that works. Dwan, What was the name the club you joined in November, the writing club? That was NaNoWriMo. It's a national write a novel in a month club. I'll have to look that up again later to make sure I get that right. Do a quick Google. National write a novel in a month? I'm not sure. Let me get back to you on it though, but you can look it up on Google too and see if National Write a Novel in a Month is what it was. Any other questions there too? And Esther, I'm sorry if you can't hear. We are recording this, and so hopefully she'll be able to watch it later. Who does your editing, Dwan is asking privately here. My editing, I would send it out really just to friends and family. I haven't actually had a paid editor. My wife is very good. She's my primary editor, and then I have a number of other people that do writing, and I'll send it to them, just some friends of mine, and they sort of proofread it for me and check it, both for theological content as well as readability as well as grammar. So just have a few friends that do that for me. Any other questions before we move into the technicals of how you're actually going to get your book up here? Okay. Not seeing any questions, so let's go on to getting your book out there. Oh, Christopher, you have a question? You're saying, are you going to be covering... Go ahead, Christopher. I only see the first few words. Are you going to be covering how to submit yourself to search engines? Yeah, all you have to do is go to google.com and you can just enter your website right there. There's a little link if you go to some of the advanced options. I'm not going to be covering that in detail, but if you will just go to google.com or some of the different search engines, there's usually a link that says, what's the name of your website, and then they'll come out and they will automatically scan your website for all the pages and keywords and every word that's on it, and so that's the way that you get listed on a search engine. You just need to let them know what your main URL is, your main address for your website, and then they'll search all the other pages on, every 3 or 4 days. They'll come out and search and look for updates. And once you're on Amazon, actually, since they have the PDF of your file, that is searchable as well. So if someone looks for some words or some key phrases, once you're on Amazon on their whole big database, then it will direct people to the Amazon store as well, because it will find them there. All right, let's go on to creating your materials and putting it out there. For your book, you can create it, like I say, in different sizes or formats. You can use any word processing program. I know some of you have Mac, some of you have PCs. Oops. And I'm going to change. I use a program called OpenOffice. It's just the free version of like Microsoft Office. It's a public domain version. And I'm going to try to share that with you here. And can you see that OpenOffice screen on your screen? If just someone will tell me you see that now. Welcome to OpenOffice. You see it? Okay, great. So OpenOffice is just a word processor. You could use Microsoft Word, you could use Pages, you could use anything that you want. The main thing is that at the end you'll want it to create a PDF file. PDF is Adobe's format for a fixed layout of your document, and it will put the pages just like you create them. So I'm going to open a document here. I'm working currently on a book about Romans, the book of Romans, and a study on renewing your mind and how that book can help you to renew your mind. And I've simply created a book. It's just some pages in this word processing document, and I've done a little layout stuff here. Your layout is really up to you. If you just want to go into your preferences and pick what format you want it to be at the end, you can make it like a 6:9 size, or you can make it Let me switch back here. My books all happen to be in sort of a strange little size called 5 inches by about 7 inches, just because I wanted a nice little size book. But like 6 by 9 is normal, or 8 by 10 is normal. But just in your page layout program, if you just lay it out from the beginning to be the size that you want it to be, whether it's 6 by 9 or 8 by 10, then that's the way it's going to appear when you print it out up at Amazon. So I'm just scrolling through, and you can go as crazy as you want with this as far as your fonts and your putting page numbers at the bottom and special type styles, and you can add pictures in just like I did with that other book. But you can see how you can do, whatever you can do in your layout program, that's what it will show up as when you save it. I see Esther says she can hear us now. That's great, I'm glad. So I'm not really going to go into much more about actually the layout of your document. If you have questions later, we can take some of those questions, but the main thing that you want to do is have the layout of your document be the exact size that you want it later. You can have a little gutter on the right. The outside margins, I put about a 1/2 inch margin, and the inside margins, I put about 1 inch, because in the spine of the book, the words get sort of hard to read if you get it down in there too close to the inside margin. So if you have a way to set your outer margins a certain size, and then the inner margins a little bit wider, some tips like that when you get into actual book publishing. But when we go onto CreateSpace or Amazon's website for doing this, they'll give you a lot of those tips as well, and how to set up your document in the first place. But the main thing that you want to do is get it in a format that's the right size, and it can be exactly 6 by 9, or if you want it to bleed off the edges, like in a photograph book, you'll still make it a little bit bigger to add for that bleed, because it's going to be cut off at the edge, and you want your photograph to go all the way and overlap a little bit. So if you're doing a book like that, like a photo book, then you want it to have some bleed, they call it. So you need a little extra room for that. But normally, if you're just publishing a textbook, a book of text, not a textbook, but a book of text, then you just need it the exact dimensions that you want it in the end. I'm going to save it. In my program, it just says export as PDF. And so I click that, and it gives me some options. I just take the default and say export, and it asks me where to put it, and I just say save. And now it's just exporting, and it's going to save my book in a fixed format where you can't edit it anymore in the PDF file. And then I can just go over and take a look at that book. I need to see if I can share this so you can see it too. Share. One more try. And I'm assuming you know what a PDF file looks like in the end, but I just want to show you just a little bit the difference that, it's going to be fixed, and it's going to look exactly like you've put it. Let me share this application. Preview. Okay, so now you should be seeing a preview of this in a PDF file. And it says Romans, Lessons in Renewing Your Mind. And you'll see I can highlight the words, but I can't actually change any of them. I'm scrolling through it, and here's the layout of my book. So it's going to come out exactly like this. If you can see on the left, it's got a little narrower margin than on the right. That's to allow for the part of the book where the binding is. And now on the next page, the right is narrower and the left is wider, so that as you open the book, the left and right pages are going to look different as you scroll through them, because the left will be offset to the left and the right will be offset to the right. But you can just see, you can scroll through here. This is about a 150-page book, or it will be when it's at the end. And so I've got this little file now, and it just ends in PDF. So hopefully you have a program that can create a PDF file. If you don't, I've sent you a link yesterday. You can go to adobe.com, and for $10 a month you can upload as many documents as you want and convert them to a PDF file. So even if your word processor doesn't save as a PDF file, you can go to Adobe and pay $10, and then you can have any document converted to a PDF file. But that's your ultimate goal. Get to this PDF file, and then you've got a nice format that Amazon can work with. If you use a Mac, you can save any document as a PDF file and just say File, Print, and then there's an option that says Save as PDF. So instead of printing to a printer, you print it to a PDF file. And so if you have a Mac, you can take, it doesn't matter what your word processor is, you can save it that way. Alright, I'm going to go back to Amazon now, and we're going to go ahead and upload this book, and I'll start showing you how to get your thing set up. Now Amazon, you don't actually go to Amazon.com to do this. They own a separate company called CreateSpace.com. And I'm pulling it up here, and I should have sent you the link if you've got it in the email already, but CreateSpace.com, CreateSpace.com. And CreateSpace is a company that Amazon purchased some years ago, and so now Amazon owns this company, and this is the sort of the official way to get your books up there. You can create a free account on here. It doesn't cost you anything to do it. If you see me at the top left here, there's a little sign up button. You can just click sign up, and you're welcome to do this now if you'd like, or you can do it after the class, but you're welcome to do it right now. It doesn't take long. Actually, I need to log out because I see I'm already logged in. I'll show you what it would look like if you're a new user. Okay, I'm going to click that sign up form again, and it says create a new account, and it just wants your email address, and it wants a password. Re-enter your password, put your first name and your last name, and it asks what country you're coming from. You could be from the US or Albania, and just a list of countries that you can come from, so wherever you're from, you can do this. And then what type of media are you considering publishing? And you can choose a book or an audio or video or a combination, or you're not sure. This doesn't lock you in, they're just curious. And so you can pick that as well, and then just create my account. So it's really that easy to create a free account. Just give your name, create your own password, put your first and last name, and choose what country you're coming from, and then you can create an account. Once you've created that, you can log in, and I'll go back and log in as myself here. And you'll be in, and this is sort of their home screen here, and it shows the different CDs, and I'm going to expand it here. CDs and books that I've uploaded. Here at the top, it might be small on your screen. Hopefully you can read some of this, but here's Acts Lessons in Faith. It shows that it's a book. Here's Awakening. This is our newest CD that I'm working on, and it's got a little CD icon. Here's Marilyn's Christmas CD. Here's my CD called Clear My Mind. Here's a piano book I've done. So anyway, it's a combination of books, music, CDs, and DVDs here. So you can create any of these types of titles that you like, and at the left there's just a button that says add a new title. And so that's what you do first when you're ready to do your book. You just say add a new title, and it says tell us the name of your project. I'm going to create one for Romans, and I'm going to call it Romans Lessons in Renewing Your Mind. Then it says which type of project do you want to start, and you can choose a paperback book here. This is where Don, if you want to do an audio CD, you can just click that. If you want to do MP3 files so people can buy them from Amazon and download them for 89 or 99 cents, you can do that. If you want a DVD or a video download, you can check any of those boxes. But we're going to create a paperback today. It's a similar process for each of the media, but Instead of uploading a book, you upload a zip file of your audio or your video. And then we're going to do a paperback, and I'm going to choose expert mode. You can do either way, but I'll just show you so it'll go quicker here in expert mode. And so now it's showing us a setup screen, and hopefully this is catching up on your computer just as quickly. But it just asked for a title, and I've already entered that. Just on that first screen it asked for me the title of my project, and it asked for a primary author. I'm going to put Eric Elder. You could put your middle name or a prefix or suffix. And then you can add contributors. Say you have a photographer, you can click this, or a screenplay, or designed by, or edited by. You can click any of these other people if you want additional people listed. We won't do that here, but you could just add one here and then just say add that person. And that will help in search engines too, Christopher. If you want to list a few people that are involved in the project, then if they search on their own name, or someone searches on their name, it'll also pull up that they were also involved in this project. Here's a subtitle, How to Renew Your Mind, or something like that. It asks for a volume number. If this is volume 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, you don't have to put anything here. I'll just say it's volume 1. And then it asks for an ISBN number. This is the official number on the barcode that's at the bottom of your book. And let me get my video back here. Christopher, you had a question there? Let me jump back to me. I can't see myself on my own screen here, so I can't tell. So let me hold this up here now. Christopher, it says, excellent. Now, can you use the subtitle field as a tag field also? There's a separate tag field that you can use, but you could use it that way if you want, but it's actually going to show up sort of in the subtitle of your book if you use them to create your cover. So, yeah, we'll use a separate tag field for that. So the ISBN number is that little code at the bottom, and you don't have to have your own ISBN. CreateSpace will assign one for you if you don't have one. So that's nice. If you do want your own ISBN number, you can go to ISBN's website and you can buy, like, one costs, I'm trying to remember how much one costs, $125 I think for one ISBN, and you can use that anywhere for any bookstore. So if you have your own ISBN number, you can enter it here. There's a button to enter it here, and you just type in the ISBN number. But if you just want CreateSpace to give you one for free, which is a nice option, then you can check that. So here we'll just say CreateSpace assign. I just want CreateSpace to assign one for us. We'll take the free option. You can buy a block of 10 ISBN numbers for, looks like $250. So if you have a number of books that you want to publish, you might want to do it. Some advantages to having your own ISBN number are if for some reason you leave CreateSpace, you can't take your ISBN with you, so you would just have to, you could buy a new one and get a new ISBN number for your book. That's not a problem if you want to do that later, but if you have your own up front, then you can just keep that ISBN number with your book for the whole time. But CreateSpace has been really good, so you're safe enough, I think, to use their ISBN number. And then it's asking your physical properties. Do you want it to be a black and white book on the inside or full color on the inside? Full color will cost you a little bit more, but it depends on the size of your book, not significantly more. We have these two books on Israel for kids, they're sort of coloring books and mazes and games with photographs. We printed a color version of this. It's probably $5 to $7 for a book this size, is like 60 pages. But the black and white version, that same size, is only like $3. So there's a little bit of a difference, and if your book is much bigger, it'll cost significantly more to get the color version of a larger book, but it's not too bad. So you could do black and white or color, and your paper color you can choose white or cream, and both are nice. I use white just because my covers have white lettering. It's a little crisper and cleaner, but the cream is nice and easy on people's eyes. Then it asks for a trim size over here at the right. What size is your book? And it's defaulting to a 6x9. If you want a different size book, instead of 6 inches by 9, you just say choose a different size. And it will give you several other options here. This is 6 by 9 or 5.5 by 8. This is the one that I happen to use, 5.06 by 7.81. Back when I first started creating them, they only had a few choices, and so that was the closest that I saw to what I wanted to do. But you can choose any size that you want. I'm just going to choose this special one that I have, but 6 by 9 is certainly good for sort of a small standard size book. So I've chosen my size of my book, 5.06 by 7.81, and you can download a template here, a blank template that'll sort of show you what your book might look like in Word. And so if you're not sure how to create that Word template, you can download one for that specific size. They also have a button here to estimate your book's manufacturing costs. I'm going to click that, and this will show you what it would cost to print your book. So let's say your book is a 250-page novel, and you just want one of them. It's going to be black and white, and it's going to be the size that I've chosen, or let's say a 6 by 9 book. And you click Calculate, and you'll see here that you can order them. This is the price that you would order them at. Per book is $6.50 each for a 250-page book. This is a pro plan they have for $40. You can upgrade your account, and you can then buy them for yourself for $3.85 each. And this is what I do with each of my books, because usually I'll order 20 or 30 books when I first print it, because it's nice to have them on hand. And so that pro price gives you a cheaper price, which is nice. And you make that money back, $40 back, pretty quickly with 20 books. Christopher is asking $40 per year. It's actually $40 one time at this point. Each year they keep saying if you want to renew it, it's $40 for the next year, but we're going to give it to you for free again. I think they want to keep you as a publisher, so it's for me it's been $40 one time is all. So a $40 one-time fee. But on their form when you sign up, it'll say it's $40 annually. But each year, when it's come up for renewal, they've waived the fee for me. So hopefully that gives you an answer. Let me go back. If your book is 800 pages, this is the large one. We'll calculate that. Looks like the standard price is $17.50 each, or the pro price that we were paying for our big book was $10.45. So it's pretty amazing for a big book like that. It actually doesn't change the price if you get a larger one, like let's go to an 8 by 10 size, an 800-page book. They can't do it that big, just because of the binding. We'll say 440 pages. Melanie Lisa, looks like you've joined us. Glad you're out there. So this is the pro plan price for a 440-page book is $6.13 at 8 by 10 size. Let's shrink it down to a 5 by 8 size. And you'll see the price is exactly the same, $6.13. So it doesn't really matter if your book is, a skinny mini book, a mini size format, or a large 8 by 10 book. It's going to be the same price. What makes the difference is how many pages you have. So if you have a 100-page book, the price is $2.15 each. And so that doesn't matter whether it's 8 by 10 or 5 by 8 for a 100-page book. It's about $2.15, I think, is the lowest they go. Let's try. This is a 24-page book. Yeah, it's also $2.15. So the cheapest book you can do is $2.15 with the Pro plan. Melanie, I'm not sure if that's your telephone, but I hear a little background noise. You might want to, there's a mute button on the screen if you want to. I just hear a little shuffling of papers, which is not too bad, but just to let you know, if you hover over that green bar at the top, you can mute it. So this is the pricing of it, and you can look at and see what you want to do there. and we'll just keep scrolling down. We're looking at uploading our physical book. Now it's asking for the interior file, the PDF interior file. This is the text of your actual book. That's that Romans content. And so I'll just browse on my desktop. You probably can't see me browsing for that file. I'm just going to share it just in case. Share. Nope, it's not letting me. But I'm just choosing on my desktop that file that we just created, that PDF file. I'm going into the folder on Romans, and I select the PDF file, and then I say open. And you'll see that it's put that file now in that box, Romans 506 by 781 text for Amazon. And then here's the bleed option. Does this book bleed off? Are there pictures that you want to make sure the picture goes all the way off the page, or do you want it to end before the page? And I'm saying I want it to end before the page because I just have a regular textbook. And then we get to our cover. So we've got our interior there, and then the cover file. If you want to create your own cover, this is what I've done because they didn't have a cover creator before. So I just take a picture, like this is one of the pictures that we used from our Israel book, and I lay it out and put a top and a bottom, and I lay out the whole. You lay out the whole thing in one shot. So your front, back, and spine are all in one image, and you can upload that one image as a PDF file. But if you don't want to create and design your own cover, they can create one for you. And they say Cover Creator, and just launch Cover Creator. And so we're going to do that. We're going to launch the Cover Creator. It's actually scrolling through some things there saying it's uploading the book itself because they want to see what size your book is. And then they'll make a cover that's just that right size. And here you can see some choices of covers that you could do. It looks like they've got 5 pages worth of choices here. You can change these colors and pictures. You're sort of just going for the layout here, or you can use their layout just like it is. Let's pick this one. It's called the Poplar, and say OK. So you just pick a cover that you like, and you see how it's popped up already, the title it's put in here, Romans Lessons in Renewing Your Mind on the right, and underneath that here's the subtitle. So Christopher, like if you used your keywords here in the subtitle, it would actually show up here. You can edit this still too, but this is probably where you'd actually want a real subtitle, and it puts your author down here, it puts a default picture. Along the spine here you can see sideways it says Romans Lessons in Renewing Your Mind, and your name at the bottom. And then it's got some text on the back, just some fake Latin text. You can just click on any of these items and you can change it. So over here at the left, I'm just going to change whatever you want to be on the back. Here's some text for the back of my book. I love to write. I hope you love reading it. And you click apply, and it will change it and it'll format it, and it actually increased the font size because I didn't have many words. You can change the font size back over here at the left. If you want to change the design of your whole book, or you want to change the color, you can change all of those things. At the bottom it says there's an author photo section. You can have that, or if you don't want it, just click invisible, and it'll turn that little field off so there's no photo down there. But if you like the photo, you can just turn that back on, and there's a little upload button here. You just click upload and it will pull up, and you can just grab a photo that you like, click open, and it puts the photo down there. This is actually Stephen Jobs' signature that's on the inside of the original Macintosh computer. If you ever buy one of those original Macs, they're all engraved with his name and all the other designers of that very first Mac. But anyway, that isn't the photo I would use on the back of my book, but that was one that was handy right there. The barcode area, you don't actually have to do anything for the barcode area. It will print the barcode number there for you. It's just showing you a white space so that you don't put anything in that spot. If you don't like the cover picture, you can change that too. Just click on the picture, and it says you can either use one of their images or you can upload your own. So you can just scroll through. I'm going to say use one of theirs. And you'll see here it's coming up with a variety of pictures. I'm just going to pick one. So if you don't have any photograph you like, you can pick one of theirs. We'll pick this eagle. And we'll say OK. Actually, it's not taking it, so... Oh, here it is. A single click is all I needed. We'll pick this purple wildflowers. We'll say use this image. And now it will change that image on the cover of your book. So now you have a whole new look on your cover. If you want to change any of these colors, like there's a background cover over here at the left, I am now change the background color. We can pick something else, maybe more of a lavender or purple, and we'll see what that looks like. For some reason it didn't like that color. Could just be my mouse and all the windows that I have open here, but you see the idea. You can just pick a color. It would normally change all the colors of the background, even that dark swishy color and the lighter swishy color. If I press enter. Nope, it's not holding on here. But hopefully when you try it on your own, you'll be able to do it and it'll work for you. Then you push submit cover. And it's working, and it's going to generate a preview image so you can see what the cover is going to look like. And here's the cover, so you can view a full-size preview. And so now here's the preview. I'm actually going to save that cover. On my computer I have a way to just grab a little section of my screen, a little crop tool. You could also just save it, but just for later in the class, I'm going to capture a selection. So that I have just that cover, and I'm going to use that later for something else. My cover. You could also save this whole file. But there's your cover. If you don't like it, you can edit it. You can start a new cover from scratch. And again, like I say, you can upload your own cover if you've already got covers or you have someone that wants to design it. Dwan, I saw that you had asked, are you on the Pro plan? And yes, I am for most of my books. I may have answered that earlier since you asked it, but yeah, I do the Pro plan. It's just a cheaper way to order a bunch of my books. Here it's asking for sales information. This is a description. Here's some info about my book. Now we're not on creating the cover of the book anymore. We're creating a description that's going to appear on Amazon's website. So this is any text that you have here will be searchable through Google and all those other places. So say your book is similar to someone else, or say your music is similar to someone else. You know, it's sort of nice to say, you know, this is my music, but it's really very similar to Bruce Springsteen or you know, whoever it might be, whoever you're trying to write about, or you know, my music is like Dennis Jernigan's, or for Christopher, you know, his music is Dennis Jernigan's. But if your music is like someone else, put it in there. If your book is like someone else, or say some of your favorite authors, you know, some of my favorite authors are, and you just list a few authors. Then when anyone searches for that author name, it'll also pull up your book because you've described it over here. Now, you're not trying to trick people, but you're trying to say, you know, these are some of the writing styles that I like. These are people that I really admire. And it does help people to know, you know, some of the people that are interesting to you or helpful to you. But this is where you have a description. You've got a lot of characters here, 4,000 characters, so you can go on and on. I won't type anymore, but this is the description that's going to appear on Amazon's website and Barnes & Noble, and if you enable it to be appearing everywhere else, it'll go there. It's asking for a BSAC category. This is what category your book would be in a bookstore. Is it art? Is it a Bible? Is it comics? We're going to pick today what I use for mine. I click on religion. Mine would be in the religion section, and they have a book on various kinds of religions, and I'm going to pick Christianity. Actually, I'm going to pick Christian life because they have a category for devotional. So I choose my category, and I pick choose my category, and so now it's going to show up in your religion, Christian life, devotional category. So this just helps people if they're searching for devotionals. All the devotionals would be in one category. It's a little bit more for a physical bookstore where you would actually physically go to it, but it also works on the web. If you don't know what any of these things are on the screen, there's a lot of these buttons you'll see at the left that say, what's this, what's this, what's this? You can click it, like the BSAC category, if you don't know what that is. You can click the what's this, and it'll say Book Industry Standards and Communications category, used by the bookselling industry to identify and group your books by their subject matter. Choose a BSAC category that best fits your book. So you can just add one category. Later you'll be able to add other categories too, but you have to pick one primary one. The author biography, if you want to put your own bio here, you can just click on that and say add and say, hi, I'm Eric Elder. And you can go on and on. You have 2,500 characters there. It asks for a book language. We're going to pick in English, but if you want it to be in Bulgarian or Bosnian, it doesn't actually translate it for you. It just lets people know when they're searching what language your book is in. And that probably helps for search engines too, as search engines are specific to your language. What's your country of publication? I'm going to say United States. And what's your date of publication? And you can just pick from the calendar here. We'll just say we're going to publish it today. Search keywords. This is the keywords for other people. If you want to enter your keywords, these would be your tags, Christopher, from earlier. And maybe you want it to be on Romans would be a keyword for sure in mine. Bible study, devotional, Christian, Jesus. You can add search words here. I think there is a limit. Let me put a couple and see what it says. Prayer. Then contains adult content. This would be more for X-rated books that they need to know if that's a book like that. And then large print book. It's not going to actually print it in large print for you, but it just lets you know and it puts it in that large print category on their website. So it says, action required, you must save your progress before you can go any farther. So I'm just going to click Save Progress. Christopher, I see you're asking a question. Are these tags front-facing? You'll have to tell me what that means, Christopher. I'm sorry, I don't know what front-facing means. They will appear on the website if that's what you mean. They're not hidden in the background. They'll show up on Amazon. There's a field that'll show them if that's what front-facing means. So they will appear. That any okay, it means any searcher can see the tags when they find the book. Yes, you're right. Anybody can see those tags. They're not hidden. Okay, it's given me one error here. It highlights in red whatever needs to be changed. It says, please specify no more than 5 search keywords. So we'll have to cut it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll end here at Jesus. Let me save the progress again, see if that goes away. So it's not many tags, but you have a lot of room in the book description and in the author bio to put as many words as you want there, and those are all indexed as well. Let me scroll back up through, make sure nothing else is missing. It says upload has been complete of my PDF file, and it says the upload of the cover has been complete, so it's created the cover, it's created the interior. I don't see any other errors highlighted in red. So we'll go on down through the screen. Sorry if it's scrolling fast there. The next question it's asking is sales channels and what's your list price for your book. And here's where you can enter what price you want. I'll say $12.99 and I'll push save, and you'll be able to see how much you'll earn at that price. There's a little calculator, but it also calculates it immediately when you push save. So on the CreateSpace eStore, this is just your own book, and it says you would earn $5.93 from it at that price, or you earn $7.77 if you upgrade to the Pro plan. And if you sell it on Amazon, your eStore, I don't actually use the eStore, but yeah, you can create a little store just for your own products, and people can go buy it there, and you get more of a profit from the book if they buy it from your little eStore. But they don't have as many options, like the checkout options. You can't do like the overnight delivery, or you can't, there are just some different things that you can't do when you use your own eStore. And they sort of, they make it available if you want to just send a link to a lot of your supporters, people that really, love your stuff. You can send them a link to your eStore. You'll make more than if they buy it from Amazon. But what I do is I even bypass all of that, and I just put a link on my website and say, if you'll send me a donation of any size, I will send out a book to you. And then I just actually order the book from my own personal account, as if I'm shipping it to myself, and then I ship it to them. And they don't mind that. It says, is this book a gift? You can type that, that you're just sending it to someone else. And so that's doable. But that way people make a donation to our ministry, and sometimes they'll give $5 or $10, sometimes it'll be $25 or $100, because they want to support our ministry and they're glad to get a book in return. So it's sort of a little better for me if people make a donation and then I order the book for them. But if they buy it from Amazon, if I've lost you there, I'll come back to it later. If you buy it from Amazon.com, it says you'll earn $5.17 per sale if you upgrade to the Pro plan. Otherwise, you make $3.33. What I've tried to do is price all my books and CDs to where I'll earn $5 at least on Amazon, $4.98 or $5 or $5.15 or something. It seems to be a reasonable price and something you would pay in a bookstore. My CDs I have to sell at $17.98 on Amazon to get a $5 back, and I could sell them cheaper, but $15 or $12, but then I make less. And I feel good if I get $5 per copy, and I don't have to order it for people. I don't have to ship it to anybody. The sales just come in, and they just deposit the money in my bank account. So that's handy. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. This next screen says expanded distribution channel, and you can upgrade here. Pay $39. I said $40 earlier, but yeah, $39. You can upgrade, and it looks like you do have to click that upgrade option if you want to use their expanded distribution channel, meaning if you want it to appear on Barnes & Noble website and other websites, then you have to upgrade to this Pro plan. Upgrade to the Pro plan, and you earn $2.57. So that means if you sell your book through Barnes & Noble, you'll get $2.57, rather than the $5.17 that you get if people buy it from Amazon. So you'll probably want to send your own people to either Amazon or your own website. But if people do find it on Barnes & Noble, hallelujah, you've made $2.50, and you keep going. So you won't make as much when they expand it, because of course this is Amazon's company, and Amazon's trying to promote their own business, but they're glad to make it available to other resellers. And then there's some other choices here. You can sell it on CreateSpace Direct. These are just different choices. You can choose each one to see what that means, but it's more than we need to go into today. You can make it available to libraries and academic institutions if they want to order it, or booksellers and online retailers. I'll just click that, and it just says it makes it available to thousands of major online and offline bookstores and retailers, expanding your audience. I'm going to click that one and say, well, it actually won't let me click it because I haven't upgraded. I'm not going to upgrade today because I don't want to go through all the credit card thing and stuff like that to pay for it, but you see where you can do that there. So now it says setup is complete, and it says sales channels must be chosen. I'm going to say save progress, and we'll see Sales channels must be completed before submitting review. So I must have to sell it at least on Create Space Direct. Let's see if that does it. No? Sales channels. I'm going to click just this direct button that goes right to the sales channels. Oh, I see. Up here at the top, I never selected the main one. Create Space eStore. You can or you don't have to do that. I'll select it anyway and say, yes, I want that. Do you want US and international sales? Yes, let's sell them all over. And then Amazon.com, yes, I want to sell them on Amazon. So I select that. And it says your book will be listed on Amazon.com. This says changes to your title, including the price, may take up to 15 business days to appear on Amazon.com. So if you make price changes, it might take a while till it gets out on Amazon that the price has changed. But your actual text and everything, you can change that immediately. So if you want anybody in the future, starting tomorrow, to order your new book, if you've made some edits, you can upload that. And when they print it out and ship it out, those changes will be in effect right away. But any changes to your listing on Amazon, since that's a whole different website, will be different. Okay, so now we've chosen those two options, Create Space eStore and Amazon.com. We're not going to choose the expanded right now, just because I don't want to pay the $39 for a book that I'm not ready to publish yet. And I click Save Progress. Saving complete. Everything's complete. So we've finished this whole page, and your final button is going to be Submit for Review. Now you don't want to do that until you're really ready to go with it. I'm not ready to go with it, but when I submit for review, they'll say that they'll get back to you within 24 hours usually, and someone's physically going to look at the book and the uploads that you had. They're going to make sure your cover is printable. They're going to make sure your text hasn't come out in some garbled language or some computer language. Maybe your PDF file didn't save right. They're going to check your ISBN number if you've entered your own, and they want to make sure that that's legitimate. If you use Create Space ISBN, then that's not going to be a problem, but they do check a few of the things, and they'll get back to you, and usually it's within 12 hours for me. Somebody will get back and they'll say, yes, your book is ready, and you can either approve it and start selling it right away, or they encourage you to order one copy for yourself before you start selling it. So once it's ready, you go back to your member dashboard, and you'll see I have this Romans Lessons in Renewing Your Mind book. It says it's incomplete because I haven't submitted it for review yet, but we can look at one of the others, like Acts Lessons in Faith. And you'll see everything's been done here, and it says there's a button that says Order a Proof, and they'll send you an email once they approve it, and it'll send you an email and say log back in, and it'll say approved, your title is complete, or it's printable in its current state, or if it's not printable, they'll tell you why, and they'll ask you to upload another copy. And then it says order copies of your book. And so I click order, and it says the quantity, Acts Lessons in Faith. I want one copy, $2.57. That's my price as the author. Or if you want to send it as a gift to a friend, it's the same price, $2.57. And so I'll just say I want one copy, and I click checkout. And it'll ask, where do you want to send it to? These are some people I've sent books to recently, and so I could just say, oh, I want to send it out to Greg out in Denver, or I want to send it to myself, so I'll just send it to myself, Eric Elder. You type in your name and address here. And your state. And your zip code. And your country. That's all you really need. Say save and continue. So now this is your shipping address, Eric Elder, and my address, and then you can choose your shipping speed. Standard shipping is $3.59, and they say we'll get it by Tuesday, September 3rd. Today's September September 13th. Today is September 3rd that I'm filming this, and so that would be about 10 days from now. Typically, I get it in about 3 or 4 days. So they're just giving you the, sort of the outside chance here. But if you want to expedite it, you can pay $11 and get it by September 8th. If you want it even more priority, $15.98, and you'll have it by Wednesday, next Wednesday. This is Labor Day weekend, and it says it has a 1-day delay built in due to Labor Day. So I just ordered some books for a bookstore here in town, and I did the priority, I did just expedited shipping, and it got here in 2 days. So that was nice, just to get a dozen books in 2 days and pay that $2.57 plus the expedited shipping. The shipping cost goes up as the number of books goes up. So you just say save and continue. I'm just going to say standard shipping. But if you really want to get your book right away, you can. And then you can charge it to your credit card. I would just pick one that I've already entered my credit card up there. And then it reviews everything. Your shipping speed, shipping address, billing address. And then it says if you push confirm, it's going to send it out. So here I've got this Acts Lessons in Faith. This is the book that I showed you earlier in the day. And it's $2.57 for me. That's because I have the Pro plan. I've paid the $39 one-time fee for that. And so I can buy it at $2.57 per copy, and the shipping is $3.59, so a total of $6. And I can have a book in a few days. And that's the whole process. I'm not going to push confirm because I have a few copies already. But if I push confirm order, then that would have it. And then your book is out there, and it's out there indefinitely. You can scroll through all your titles. There's a whole another side of this that you can set up when you want to get paid for it. You can set up with your bank to have it direct deposited, which is what I do, and at the end of every month it will put all my sales in there. If people buy it from Amazon, it will put my sales there, and it will list all the books that sold, and then it will just send me a direct deposit right to my bank account for that $5 or whatever the amount of profit is per book. And I think they allow some 30-day delay or something before they deposit it in case people return the book or have a problem with it or something, but it's typically within a month or so that you get a deposit from the previous month's sales. And if you want them to send you a physical check, they can do that too, but there's an extra price to do that. Christopher asks, does CreateSpace allow for hard and soft backs? They only do soft cover. That's a good question. They only do soft cover. If you want a hard cover, there are 2 other companies that I would recommend you try too that I've used. Lulu.com, Lulu.com. I'll just pull that up. It's a similar company. They also make their books available to Amazon, but they're not an Amazon company. But they have nice books, and they have nice hardcover books as well as softback books. Similar pricing for their books, but you can go to Lulu.com and you can create your own account there for free as well. There's another company, especially I think if you want to do picture books, color picture books, Blurb.com, BLURB.com, and they also have books, but their color picture books are you can get really nice high quality glossy paper. It gets really pricey, like $60 for a 60-page book or something, hardback book, but they produce a really nice quality hardback, full color, shiny, glossy page book. The glossy or the color books from Amazon, they're just on plain paper, so they're fairly inexpensive. I think I said $5.47 for a color version of this book that's about 60 pages, but the color, the quality of the paper is, it's just paper, so it's not like that shiny magazine quality, but it's a decent book, and for $5.50 or something, it's a really good price to get a color book out there. That was quite a long session, this whole first session, and I'm going to take questions now about that. Then we'll take a short break, just 2 minutes or so. Let me get a drink, and you guys can do the same. And then we'll come back and we'll look at how to do your e-books, which is sort of a different process, similar but a little bit different. And so I want to show about the e-books as well. But before we take our break, any questions about this whole thing? Carolyn, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you. I'll repeat it for the others in case they can't hear it.
Okay, I have three questions, and you can answer them now or later. One of the things I noticed from your book is that you have permission to use the Bible from the Zondervan Publishing House. How would we go about doing that?
The question.
You also had
Do I also have it for what? The second half?
you have permission from Zondervan Publishing House for the use of the Bible written,
Yeah.
and then you also had it copyrighted. So how do we get that done? And the other question I had is in reference to having a book with the same name as someone else an issue. So that's three questions.
Okay. So the first question, just getting permission from the Bible publishers to quote scripture in here. Yeah, you just put a notice at the front of your book saying this has been, if you go to their websites like zondervan.com or the New Living Translation, it will tell you how many scriptures you can quote without asking them for permission. And basically it's like as long as you're not quoting an entire book of the Bible, like the whole book of Romans I don't quote, that would need permission. And as long as it's not more than I think half of your book. So you can't like have 90% of the book is from the book of Romans and then you add a few words at the beginning or end. You can't do that without asking them for permission. But if you just quote throughout your book anything less than 50% and it's not an entire book of the Bible, you can do that. And most of the publishers have a similar agreement. It depends on how many verses you can quote. Each one has their own, New Living Translation, or the Message might say it's a smaller number than maybe like a New International Version. And like King James Version, like Christopher says, is not copyrighted at all. You can quote the whole thing. You can actually upload the King James here to Amazon and sell it if you want. But the idea is that you can put that little copyright notice. My suggestion would be to go to a website called BibleGateway.com, BibleGateway, BibleGateway.com, and it has a number of the versions out there, and you can search and look at the versions. And I usually copy and paste my quotes from that into my messages because it's just easier than retyping them all. And I can pick whatever version I want. And then it has a little button, usually on the version when you're going to copy it, and it'll say the copyright notice. That's the same notice that you would put you put that at the very front of your book that says this has been, I have permission from Zondervan to do this. And they give you the actual quote. Christopher says, double check the versions from Bible Gateway as they're not all correct. I've noticed actually they've changed the NIV. This is just my own comment, but they've changed the NIV this year, and so they just say it's the NIV, but it doesn't match my NIV because I have a 1984 NIV, and the new version is the 2011 NIV. They also have the 1984 NIV out there, but you have to scroll down all the way to the 1984 NIV, whereas the default one goes to the new 2011 version. So sometimes the versions aren't quite correct that way. I'm not sure if that's what Christopher is referring to, but yeah, it's a good idea to double check what you're sharing. Your second question was your second question is about copyright. The simple answer is once you type it up, and once you have written something, you've not even typed it up. If you write it on a napkin, it's copyrighted officially by the U.S. government. The trouble is just proving that that napkin was actually written back on a certain date. But like things like my books, I don't bother copyrighting them with the government anymore officially. You can go through that, and I'll tell you that website. It's called USPS. I'm sorry, not USPS. USPTO.gov. United States Patent and Trademark Office.gov. So if you go to that website, you can actually copyright it, and I think it's like $25 or $45 or something, and you can submit 2 copies of your actual book or your manuscript if it's not published yet, and then that will copyright it officially, and it'll mark it as the date that this is the date that I, Eric Elder, wrote this, and they will keep a copy of that in, somewhere in Washington, D.C. underground in their big vaults, and if there ever is some litigation, you can go back and prove and say, and you get a copyright notice from them saying, yes, this has been copyrighted, it's been submitted to us officially on this date. if you ever came to a lawsuit, you could also maybe come back to CreateSpace or Amazon and say, I published this on this date and I've got a copy of it. And actually at the back of the book, when they print it, it says it's made in the USA, 13th of July, 2011. This is on the back of mine. So they actually print on here the date that this was printed. They don't say CreateSpace or anything like that. It just says made in the USA, Charleston, South Carolina, 13th July 2011. So it's actually copyrighted the moment you write it. It's sort of the short answer. And then it just becomes a matter of, if you want to think about proving it in court someday, if somebody else, takes your stuff, and you could do all that. I did that for the first book or two, but I haven't bothered since then. I don't know if that's a wise thing to do. I'm not giving you legal advice, but it's technically legal that once you write it, it's yours. You own it. It's just a matter of proving that in court that you own it. Your third question, I didn't get to write it down. Can you? What was that again, Caroline?
It's the book with the same title, which is already out there. You don't change the title.
Yeah, if your book is the same title as someone else's, I don't really know what the answer is to that. I would think for the sake of not being confusing, it would be good to change it just for your own sake, because people will search. I don't know exactly what the legal issues are about using the same title. So if someone else has some input on that, I think if you change the subtitle, that certainly helps differentiate it. I mean, the main thing, you probably don't want to, you don't want to trick people into saying, using the Me You Want to Be or some, famous book that someone else has just published, and you're just trying to trick them. But I'm not sure. Dwan, I see you raised your hand. You have a question?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay. As far as the layout, did you say you used the white or the cream color?
For the layout, did I use white or cream? I used the white, probably because my wife liked it better. I sort of like the cream. I thought it was easier on my eyes, but the white does look sort of sharp with my particular format. But it's similar. The cream color has a little more earthy feel to it, so it's kind of nice in that way. Other questions? And I see Christopher made a comment to everyone back about the King James on Bible Gateway, and then his hard copy, and some of the verses don't line up, like something went wrong in the upload of their website. Quite possible. They'd probably appreciate a note to that effect too, because I know they're one of the largest ones out there. So if there is something in error, I'm sure they'd be glad to know that. I see Janet Kano has joined us. Glad to have you, Janet. We're just taking questions now before we go into the section on ebook publishing. Other questions here on printing your physical copy, and I know it's a lot of material. I'm just trying to give you a broad brush here. You can go back later and sort of look at it. You're welcome to email me with questions. That would be fine at eric@theranch.org, and I'll be glad to answer your questions too. Some people ask me, does this actually work? Do people actually order things? And they do, amazingly. It's like everything else, though. You have to promote it. You have to get the word out there about it. So if you have a mailing list of people that you think would be interested, that's good to let them know and to keep letting them know, and let them know where they can buy it or if they want to buy it from you. If I promote a book, it sells more. If I don't, it doesn't. It's pretty simple that way. At the bottom of all my emails that I send out a weekly devotional, I have a link to more books and music, so if people want to order more, they can. And it's not a huge amount, but I'll make maybe $30 to $50 a month from book sales that come just straight through Amazon, whether it's because of that link or other links, and that's like at $5 a book or CD profit to me. So it's not a huge number that order that way, but it's that's nice if you can get that started, and I think it will only grow as you become writing your book and publishing it, and I'm hoping that's the case for me. I do much better if I send out a note and saying I'll send you one for a donation of any size, and they just make a donation, and we've actually been able to make $400 or $500 a month that way, because people will send $100 to help support whatever the cause is or the ministry, and so that's sort of nice. Some people send $5 or $10, and then you sort of break even, or you make a couple bucks on each book. But on the whole, it's been better for me to send out a link. And again, that's sort of sending out sort of a new book or a new CD each month, so I don't want you to give you a wrong impression here either. I've had other people, though, that have told me I've shown them how to upload their book, and they're speakers, so they'll go on the road, they'll order 200 or 300 copies of their book, and when they go to speak, they'll sell 100 or 200 copies of their book at the event. So, if you want to promote it and push it, and you really get out there, you'll be able to get it out to a lot of people. And it's nice to have copies at this price. You can keep a reasonable amount of stock on hand. When it's $2, $3, $4, or $5 a book, and then you can take them out with you when you speak, or carry them in your backpack, or whatever. And as people ask about them, you can offer them to them there. Any other questions? And I'm going to take a 2-minute break then after, if there's no other questions, and then we'll come back and do our final bit on e-publishing. Nothing? Okay. Give me 2 minutes here, and then you can take your 2-minute break. I'll be right back. I'm back, but I just want to check the participant list. I know we've had some new people have added in. Janet Kano. Janet, I see you're there. It looks like you have a headset. I don't know if you're able to speak. I'm just curious where people are coming from, Janet, if you want to say something. And Melanie, I can't remember, Melanie, where are you coming from too? If you want to either tell us, that's great, or maybe you're gone, but. And Esther, you said you could hear us now. Where are you coming from, Esther? Esther, you're in Nairobi, Kenya, she says. That is awesome. I'm so glad you're here, Esther. Are you able to see everything okay, Esther, in here? And I didn't know how your internet connection would be there. I actually live out in the country and here in Illinois, and my internet connection doesn't actually get on very well. So, and if you want to text chat to everyone, you can click send to everyone rather than send to Eric Elder privately, and then everyone can see your comments. But hopefully you're able to connect in okay. Esther says, glad to be here. I can hear everything well. Great. And just a quick question for the rest of you. Are able to see the screens? Are they flipping pretty quickly for you? Or, are they tracking pretty good, or are they a little behind? Esther says, just can't speak, probably with the microphone. Okay, that's fine. I can read your text okay. And Kelly George, just saying hi to you too. Terrific. All right, I don't know if any of the others of you were trying to say hello, Janet or Melanie, but I didn't hear you if you were trying to, but you can type in the chat room. I'd like to move on to this next bit is just on putting your book up as an ebook, and I see we're at 10:36, so that gives us about 25 minutes left with the 2 hours that we allotted for this. I'm glad to stay longer and talk to you longer if you have more time, but I'm going to try to wrap up with the main meat of what I have to say by our 11 o'clock time, just in case you have other plans, but I'm glad to stay afterwards. But let's jump into the e-publishing and how to get your book out there for people to download. Amazingly, people are buying books for their iPads, their iPhones, their Kindle readers, their Nooks. On Amazon, Amazon sells a lot of paperbacks, a lot of hardbacks, but just a couple months ago they started selling more ebooks than they were paper books. That counts all their paperbacks, all their hardbacks of every title that they sell. And they finally crossed the tipping point just a few months ago where they're selling more ebook versions than physical books, which is pretty astounding. And as I've offered books to people on the internet, this little Loving Thoughts book that I have that just has these little quotes for people who are passing from this life into the next, and I put a little gospel message in the beginning there that I wrote as well as these little quotes. But I offered that maybe a month and a half ago on my website, and I said I'll send you a free ebook to anyone that just sends me your email address. I'll be glad to mail it out to you. Just not sure what the response might be, and if they wanted to order a copy, they could make a donation, and I'd be glad to ship it to them anywhere in the world. Well, within 24 hours, I had 300 people had written to me, emailing me asking for the ebook. They would say, my mom's dying, or my sister's dying of cancer, or I'm a hospice worker, and this would be great for the people I work with, or I'm a nurse at a hospital, and I'd love to have the ebook. And so I started responding to people, and just the need was great. And so I'm writing back to people. By the way, I send out a weekly devotional, and it goes out. It's going out now to 35,700 and some people. I've been doing this for about 16 years, so it's taken a while, and worked with a friend in Denver as he has built up his mailing list as well. But these are people that have subscribed to want to read the things. So out of that number of people around the world, I had about 300 people the first day said yes, they wanted the ebook. Second day, I just put the link out there. I said, here you can download the ebook for free from my website. And another 700 people downloaded it. Within 2 weeks, we had about 1,500 people had downloaded the ebook. And it's just a great way to get your material out to a lot of people quickly. I've also offered it as, as far as the physical books, I had about 45 orders for physical books. And I sent them out to places like Singapore and Seattle, Washington, and just all around the world too. And I just went to CreateSpace, I clicked on that little send me a copy thing, and I just typed in their name and address. I charge it to my credit card, and then I just ship it out to them from there. So it just takes a few minutes of going in and entering their information, and they would make a donation by PayPal on our website. So that was to get the book out. But anyway, a lot more ebooks. Of course, I was offering the ebook for free, but just to say that ebooks really are taking off, and getting it just in a digital format it is helpful. There's a couple of other places you can offer it. You can just send that PDF file that I created earlier, like that Romans PDF file. Once you get it to that PDF format, you can email it out to people. You can let people download it. You can offer it, for a donation, or you can charge a price for it for your PDF file. So you can just do that right from your own. I see Melanie says she's figured out how to text. That's great. And if you want to text to everyone, you can click send to everyone rather than send to me privately, and then everyone can see it. And I see Christopher says that his internet connection stinks, but it's still good for him, so I'm glad that it works even though it's got a low internet connection quality there. Out in Oklahoma, maybe it's probably about the same as Nairobi, Kenya, I'm not sure. But back to the ebook, you can offer just that PDF file. So in essence, you've really created what you need to for giving somebody an ebook. And if you want, you can put the color cover on the first page in your PDF file, and then they'll have the pretty color cover plus the rest of your book all within one PDF file, and they can print it out, or you can ship it out just like that. But if you want it to be formatted for these ebook readers, this is a little bit differently, because that PDF file is going to be a fixed format, and it's going to look just like your book. But in an ebook reader, people are able to enlarge the font size, and then the words adjust on the screen, and they wrap around differently. So people can make the font bigger, or they can make the font smaller. So as the text gets bigger or smaller, it adjusts on their little reader. I've got an iPhone here, and my family has an iPad, and so you can change an ebook here if you format it in what's called an EPUB, E-P-U-B format. So rather than a PDF file, the ultimate goal for the ebook readers is usually an EPUB format. Now, not every software will create an EPUB format for you, but I'll show you how to get around that, and you'll be able to get it into that final EPUB format. But let's just look. Kindle is a popular device, and since we're on Amazon anyway, we're going to look at how to get your book out for Kindle. Then we'll look at how it can get on the Book Nook reader, Barnes & Noble Nook reader, and then we'll look at Apple's iBookstore last. That's a little more complicated process, but it's doable. So on the Kindle, the website is kdp.amazon.com. So instead of using CreateSpace.com, they have another company that they own called Kindle Direct Publishing, kdp.amazon.com. And you'll see here on the screen, when I go to that website, that's what I'm going to see. And it says to sign in here with your username. I actually have an Amazon account, so it's going to sign me in as Eric Elder Ministries. If you don't have it, I'll just show you again. It's very similar to the other CreateSpace. I'm just trying to find where the logout screen is. Not Eric Elder Ministries. Let's see if that logs me out. If you don't have an Amazon account, it will tell you to sign up. So there's a little button that says sign up. To sign up, they just want your email address and say that you are a new customer, and say sign in using our secure server. So you can start that up. They want my email address. Sign in. Then it asks for your name, your email address again, and a password. And then it'll say create an account. So it's easy, it's free, and you can just create an account that way. I'm going to go back and log in with my regular account. I'll just log in again from the home page, sign in. So I use my email address and my password, and I sign in. So this is called Kindle Direct Publishing. And I've added some titles already here. You'll see I have my Acts Lessons in Faith book, my Exodus book. I was creating a Romans test book yesterday, just before the class. And if you want to add a new title, you just add a new title. Then it wants your book details. So again, this is similar to what we did on CreateSpace. This book is part of a series, yes or no. It's not really a part of a series. It's not a special edition. We're just going to put the name. Romans Lessons in Renewing Your Mind. And I should create a new one because that's a different name. And a description. I'm just skipping the blanks that aren't needed. it ought to say, here's a book about Romans, and you can go on, again, 4,000 characters you've got. You can add contributors here, just like we did before. Add a author or picture, illustrator, editor. What language is it in? I'll say it's in English. Publication date is optional. All these are optional. The ISBN is actually optional on this, so you don't need an ISBN number to publish out here. If you are going to use an ISBN number, it has to be different than your print book. This is just a rule of the publishing industry. You can't use the same ISBN number for your printed book as for your electronic book because they're two different versions, and if somebody looks it up at the bookstore, they want to make sure they order the right one for you, so each ISBN is unique to the version. But you don't need an ISBN number on your book. So you can just skip that box. You verify your publishing rights. This is public domain, anybody can have it, or this is not public domain and I hold the rights. So we're going to say, yes, it's not public domain, I'm not giving it away to anyone to use. I hold the rights to it. Then it asks for what categories do you want. We'll do the same thing. We'll go down to the religion category, and we'll say Christian life and devotional. Save. So now it says devotional right above that. Then search keywords. It says up to 7, so you could say this again. Romans, devotional, Jesus, Christianity, whatever you want to do, Bible study, every phrase separated by a comma. Then it says upload your book cover. This is optional, you don't have to put a cover, but this is what's going to show up on Amazon or the other websites where they sell your book. So we're going to browse for an image, and it wants, I'm going to upload that image that I created earlier. Remember this my cover that I created at the beginning? It saved it as a TIFF file and it wants it as a JPEG, so I'm just going to save it as a JPEG format. If you have your own cover, that's fine. Alright, I'm going to click Browse and grab it from my desktop called mycover.jpg and then say Upload Image. So now it's telling me, though, there's an error because the dimensions of my file have to be at least 500 pixels on the longest side. So I'm not going to fix that change right now. I'll just pick a different cover. But you'll want to save your cover apparently in a particular dimensions, and you can edit that later. I'll pick books. I'm going to pick one of my other covers just because I know it works. Actually, I'm not, because it's in a whole different directory, so I don't want to take the time to try to figure that out right now. I was hoping that cover that we saved earlier would work, but it didn't. Let's pop that back up. Cancel. There we go. Okay, I'm going to cancel that cover image. It's optional anyway. I guess there's a product image guidelines. You want to read those before you do this, especially for a live class like this. It does say upload your book file, and it says you can enable digital rights management or do not enable digital rights management. I just choose don't enable the rights. That's like for Kindle, so nobody shares it with another Kindle reader. It can only be read on a particular one. But I just don't do that just because if they can figure out how to copy it, that's okay for me. I'm glad that people are reading it. But you can figure that out if you want. Then the book content file, it says browse for the book, and it has these 2 links here, and you'll want to check out these links. Learn about the content guidelines and help with formatting. Let's look at the content guidelines first. They don't accept things like pornography or offensive content. And you can scroll through here about maybe it's on the next link, sorry. Help with formatting. Building your book. It says your file can be in the format of a doc file, DOC, which would be like Microsoft Word or OpenOffice, but they don't want an RTF file. So if you can save your file as a doc rather than a PDF, that's even better. If you can save it as an EPUB directly, that's great. But if you want to save it as a doc file, which I'm going to go back to OpenOffice, I'll open my document again that I was working on Romans earlier. And you'll see this is the main page of that Romans book, and instead of saving it as a PDF, I'm going to save it as, and I choose Microsoft Word.doc, and I'll push save, keep in the doc format. So now I'm just saving it as a doc file. I'm going to go back to the Kindle, and I'm going to browse for my book so I can upload that doc file. And you understand the difference. The doc file is going to reflow everything so that it can actually flow if somebody chooses a larger font or something, rather than the PDF is a fixed format. So that's why for this kind of ebook reader, you want it to be in not a PDF format. Some of them will let you do a PDF format, but Romans.doc, I'm going to choose that, and that puts it in, and I'm going to click Upload the book. So now it says it's converting the file to Kindle format. This may take a few moments, then you can save and continue. So we're going to wait and let that upload, and I'll show you what it looks like on a Kindle reader. Any questions while we're waiting for that to upload? I see Christopher says he has DSL out here at camp and it's wireless from a steel building about 250 feet away. So that's a ways. Okay, upload and conversion successful. You can preview the book and see how it looks on a Kindle. So here it is. This is sort of your fake Kindle reader that you're seeing. And you can scroll through the pages. That was the cover. This is the copyright page, and the copyright page flows on to the next one. Dedication page, acknowledgements, and your introduction. If you want to change the font size, you can see how the words will rearrange. I'm going to make it a larger font size, and you see now the words have wrapped around differently than if I do like a very small size. So because it's in this doc format and then they upload it to the Kindle, it will let people adjust their words, make them bigger and smaller. Dwan asks, to get in the Kindle format is free, just like the paperback to upload and create. Yes, exactly. Yep, this is free. You can just upload it. It doesn't cost you anything to create an account or to upload it, and then it's available. Anybody can buy it, and you haven't paid a cent. They take their money when it sells on Amazon. So if Amazon sells a copy, you pick your price again. But when they sell a copy, they'll take 30 to 50%, depending on whether it's a paperback or a Kindle version, and that's all outlined in your details. But yeah, it's free to do this. It's just a matter of figuring out where to go, like kdp.amazon.com or createspace.com. That's half the battle, just knowing where to upload it, and then the other half is actually getting through all these screens. I'm going to push save and continue. Oh, it says some required information is missing, so let's go back up and see. Add contributors. Oh, I never said that I was an author. I guess I have to say Eric Elder and select my title, author. That feels kind of good when you can say, what's your choice? Author, editor, illustrator, and you say author. So I guess, now you're an author. Once you push that, that's your title. It says right there, Eric Elder, author. So I guess I am, and you push save and continue. Then it says your book is almost there. Do you want to give worldwide rights or just individual territories? And you can choose per country. I'm going to say worldwide rights. It says over here under the frequently asked questions, what option you want, which royalty option. 70% royalty comes to you, or 35%. And I choose the 70% option. The 35% has some other issues associated with it. You'd have to read that to figure out why. But as I've looked at it, I say worldwide rights, and I want the 70% royalty. And it asks, what's the list price? For my books, I'm doing like $7.99. And then it'll set the UK price automatically and the German price automatically in euros if you want, or you can pick a price if you want it for those countries. Kindle book lending, again, I think at the $7.99 price I'll get about $5 from that. And then by clicking Save and Publish, I confirm I have the rights to this, and I'm going to make it available. I say yes, I do have the rights, and I would normally push Save and Publish. But I'm not going to because it's not actually done yet, the book. And once I do this again, it's like on, I'll push Save for later, it's like on the Create space. Once you push Save and Publish it, it takes about 24 hours, sometimes just a few hours. But I think they say they'll get back to you within 24 hours or so. And they'll just want to make sure that it's right, that the ISBN number on the inside is right and everything if you used your own, things like that. There's a question here from Dwan. Formatting the paperback, do you double space, suggested font? How do you get the box on your books and the box in your texts, margins, text back? All right, let me come back to that when we get back to the paperback. It's a good question. I'll just come back to it though after we finish with our online things, because we're running out of time here. So this lets you see you now have a Kindle book out here. And this is my book now, Romans, Lessons in Renewing Your Mind. It shows me the price, $7.99, and it says it's still a draft. If you see the other ones above it, it says they're live. And so that means they're live, they're out there on Amazon. And if you go search on Amazon, you'll see that I have a paperback version of Acts, Lessons in Faith, as well as a Kindle version, and people can buy either one they want, and I make $5, whether it's sold at $12.99 for the paperback or $7.99 for the Kindle. You can also make it available for free. You can pick your price of free if you want. For the ebook version, for the paperback, you can't give them away free because CreateSpace, it costs them some money. You can get it to where you don't get any profit at all. You just say, I'll take the minimum just so you get your money back, like $5 per book for a paperback. But you can see how people would want to buy an ebook if they've got an ebook reader, $7.99 rather than $12.99. Sure, I'll take the $7.99, and you save some money and some shipping and some trees. So. This is the way it works. It works similar way on BarnesandNoble.com, similar for Apple.com. It's a little more complicated on Apple. I realize we are at 10:59, which means 1 minute to go. And I don't want to keep you longer. I've sent you a link for the BarnesandNoble.com website. If you want to do it from there, you can click on that link. I think it's called, I'll just show you here, pubit.barnesandnoble.com, and this will publish your book for Nook Reader. This is the Nook, and when you push Get Started, you can enter your email address and password. It's the same idea, and push Start or Sign In, and you'll see here that I have listed my same books up here on Barnes & Noble, and I've had to upload those in a similar way. You just click the Add a Title button, you put your title, your list price, your author name, upload your book. They say they also accept a doc format, but they also accept text format, just plain TXT or an HTML, or if you have an EPUB format, you can do that. This is a nice, tricky way to get an EPUB format if you need one, which you do need for the Apple website, which I'll cover after we sign off here at 11. But you can actually upload your book here in just a doc format, and then they'll save it as an EPUB that you can then download, and you can have an EPUB format. But you can see that this is a very similar thing. You're just going to upload. You upload your cover. You don't need an ISBN number again. They have just a few different questions. Is it part of a series? Is it available in print? And what's the ISBN for the print book so people can order it? You can see how Barnes & Noble does it for the Nook. And then the Apple iBookstore, I'm sorry that we're past our time, but I'm going to save that one just because it's a little bit extra complicated. But if you go to the link, you can create a free account out there as well. It just requires downloading some special software from Apple to do it, and it must be in the EPUB format, and they have a little stricter requirements as you upload things and specific dimensions of your images and everything like that. So they make it just a little more complicated, but it's nice to have your product out and available on the Apple website. So we're at 11 o'clock, and I'm just going to say goodbye to anybody that needs to leave and tell you thank you. And I'll be glad to take some questions again here, and then we'll also I'll stick around for a little bit, and I'll walk you through that Apple how to do that as well, just because I know some of you are very interested in that. So if you don't mind sticking around. Any other questions before someone has to leave?
I just want to say thank you very much, Eric.
Don is saying thank you very much. You're welcome, Don, and I know this is a lot about book publishing. You can now write your book too if you want, or if you've got your book written, but you can do a very similar thing for your uploading your CDs, and you're just uploading your music files as MP3s, and it tells you everything on there, the quality and everything that you need it recorded at. So it's a similar process. It's not quite as quick. It'll take several days because they physically want to print a CD and mail it to you and make sure you check that it's right. So it's not quite as quick as the book publishing, but it's good. Any other question, Don, though, before you go?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Great help. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Hope things are good out in Utah today.
Beautiful day.
Good. And Dwan says in the chat room, thanks for doing this. This is awesome. I'm excited. Bless you, Sylvia. Thank you, Eric. I've received a great deal of instruction on my journey to write. Terrific. Thanks, Sylvia. And again, if you want to stick around for a few minutes, I'll do the Apple bookstore as well. Any other comments or questions so far? And then, Dwan, I'll get back to your question later as well, just on the paperback formatting. Okay, let me jump into the Apple link, and I'll actually have to pull this up myself on my screen. Let me find that link again. It's sort of a long and complicated link, and I imagine there's a simpler way to get to it, but the simple link that I had tried to send you yesterday didn't work anymore, so I sent you straight to it. Okay. It's at iTunesConnect.apple.com, and the rest of this link says webobjects/itunesconnect.woa/wa/apply. So this is an online application process. It's not as quick. It's not an instant application. They actually review it. They want to make sure that you're legit and you have a valid email address, and they have the right to not carry you out there as well. But it says, welcome to iTunes Connect, and this is the online application, and you select what you want to publish. You can choose music, books, TV, movies, podcasts, or apps. And we want to publish books, and say continue. And then it asks, it tells you what the requirements are to work directly with Apple. You can also work with one of their aggregators, it's called. But the aggregators are other companies that will do this, third-party companies that will do all this for you. Technical requirements, you do have to have an Intel-based Mac running OS X 10.5. Excuse me. You have to have a gig of RAM. QuickTime. You do have to have ISBNs for all the titles you want to publish, and so you would have to buy those ISBNs either from some company that sells them or directly from the ISBN organization. And as I mentioned earlier, it's about $125 to buy one ISBN, or the current prices are $250 for 10 ISBN numbers. And you need different ISBN numbers for your ebook versus your paperback. So if you're buying your ISBN, you'd have to buy at least two if you want to publish paperback as well as ebook, and use your own ISBN ISBN numbers. And also you have to have it in EPUB format, which we'll talk about again a little more. And financial requirements, you need a U.S. tax ID. You don't have to live in the U.S. You can apply for one, and here's a little link that says request one from the IRS. So a tax ID, if you're just an individual, that's your social security number. If you're a business, that's your EIN number or employer identification number. But if you don't have that tax ID number, you can't sell in the bookstore because they're going to collect U.S. government taxes on every sale. So if you live outside the U.S., you can also click and request one, and you just have to tell them you're outside the U.S., but you will be subject to U.S. taxes if you sell to people in the U.S. And you need a valid iTunes account with a credit card on file. So it's a little more strict, a lot more strict, depending on where you're coming from and what kind of computer system you have and everything, but they just tell you up front what you need. The fact is it's doable, though. And you used to not be able to do this just as an individual publisher. You had to be a big company, but just recently they've opened it up to independent publishers like us and just individual authors like us. It asks for your first name, your last name, and your Apple ID, and your password. And it says if you don't have your Apple ID through iTunes, then you have to go create that, and it gives you a choice here, open your iTunes account. You don't have to have a Mac to do that. You can have iTunes on Windows or otherwise. And then you say, I consent to allowing the iBookstore to use your information for identifying you. And then you would push continue. And then once you push continue, I'm not going to do it now because I've already created one, but once you push continue, they will notify you by email, and it might take a few days, it might take a few weeks before they get back to you to say, yes, we are going to approve you. And I've been approved just by saying, you know, I'm going to publish some books, and I'm an independent author, and they've approved me. So you don't have to be a big publisher, you don't have to publish a lot of things. I don't know what all their qualifications are, but I was able to get approved, and so that should give you some encouragement that just being a normal person, you can get approved to do this. When you go into your iTunes account, then they'll give you some choices. They'll give you some choices to download this particular software, and they'll tell you exactly how to do your book. I'm just logging into my iTunesConnect.apple.com account, and it says, Welcome, Eric Elder Ministries, and it tells you just all about what you need. Your EPUB creation, it says you have to create an EPUB file. One of the tricks that I've seen, if you don't have a Mac, of course, you know, you can still do all this and find a friend who has a Mac and, you know, upload your things. But on the Mac, if you use Pages software on the Mac, you can save your file as an EPUB file, and so that's nice. There may be some other word processors that you can do that and just save it right directly as an EPUB file. If you can't, the other trick is you can go to Barnes & Noble's website where you upload your doc format, and then they will convert it to an EPUB, and they'll give you a link where you can download that EPUB. You can take that downloaded EPUB that you've created from Barnes & Noble, and you can use it here on Apple, and then you can upload it as an Apple EPUB. Just a little trick. And again, this is getting into more complex territory when you want to publish these EPUBs in this way rather than a PDF file, but it makes the reader experience so much better. You also need iTunes Producer on your computer, and there's a link here, and you can just click that, and it will download this iTunes Producer software for you to use. So I'm going to open up the iTunes Producer. This is on my desktop. I've already downloaded it. Again, this is a special software, and it apparently runs only on a Mac. And you can open a package that you have on your computer, and we'll just look at it. This is a book that I have called Jesus Lessons in Love, and It's a similar process to these others, and you enter your ISBN number here, and your language you pick, you put your title down. You don't need some of these other things. Your publication date, your length of your printed book. They want to know how long your printed book is. They want your BSEC category. I've got religion. I put it under Christian life, devotional. And then you can add other BSEC subjects here as well. Hello. And so my wife coming in, you can say hi to her too in a second. And we're going to wrap up shortly, but just going through a little bit more. But you can add extra BSEC subjects here. Again, it's similar to your other screens. You can add your author here. You can add contributors if you want to add another person, maybe an illustrator. You can put them down. And coming over, if you don't mind saying hi.
Okay, I'll say hi.
It's the class. My wife Lana.
Hey. Good to see y'all. Thanks for coming.
She's here to pick me up, and we're taking our family to see a football game at our old alma mater this afternoon. It's a beautiful day here in Illinois, so we're heading out there after this. And I'm going to say I want to add this, so I'll click Next. And we'll go on to related products. This shows if you have another product that's similar, like this is a print equivalent of this book or another language version of the book, but I put my print books in here as well, just saying, here's my ISBN number for the print book in case people wanted to buy that. Then you have the territory rights. You can sell it in the US. You can actually choose your pricing. Here I put it as a $12.99 list price for my print book. I tell them that's what my list price is for the physical book, and then you can choose different prices for your actual e-book, and so you can change it for different places. I've chosen $6.99 for my US books. Same in Canada, that's $6.99. In Europe, it's €4.99 euros. Great Britain, it's $4.49. You sort of have to go through and pick all of these things yourself. They give you a tier of how much, tier meaning a level of how much you can charge for the book, from free up to a certain maximum depending on the physical price of your book. They won't let you charge $100 for your ebook if they can buy it for a physical book for $7.99. So they want to make sure the pricing is in line so that people would have some incentive to buy it from their bookstore. So anyway, you can see how it gets a little bit more complicated, but you can choose these things here. We'll keep clicking through the screens. It asks for your EPUB file, and you just choose over here, and it lets you pick from your computer. And I would just upload the EPUB that I created, either the one from Barnes & Noble that I downloaded, or the one that I created on my Mac in Pages, and I save it. And then it lets you choose your cover art. And again, they have some specifics for the iBookstore, and I just pick the cover art that I want, and it popped it up here. This was Jesus Lessons in Love. And then you move over to delivery, and it says any errors that you have. For instance, mine right now is missing a book description. I haven't uploaded this book yet, so I still need to add a book description, I need to add a publisher, and I need to add a primary contributor. But once you fix all these errors, anything that you have missed in the whole process, you can upload that or change that, and go back through the screens and change. And here I can add the book description over here at the right. I can add the publisher. Then you go back to the delivery screen and you click Deliver. When you click Deliver, then it sends all that stuff up to Apple's website, and then they will also again physically review that material, and they take a little longer. It'll be a week or two before you hear back from them because they have some other checks that they go through on your book. But they'll go through your whole book, and once it's available, they will say, okay, everything checked out okay, or if you have some problems, maybe the file didn't translate well, or the cover image is not the right size or shape or right dimensions or something, then they'll tell you that too. But then you can go back, and it will appear when you go back to iTunesConnect.apple.com, and you can see the books that you have for sale out there. So this is the Acts book that I have, 2 Weeks with God, Exodus, and it says it's available on 6 stores. It's got a green light next to it, meaning it's available for sale. If you're still in that waiting, that pending process, it'll be yellow or red if it says no, for some reason it's been taken off, or they won't sell it anymore, or it's just not ready yet. But I've got 4 green lights, so that's good. All books are available, and they're on 6 stores, meaning in 6 different Apple stores, meaning the online bookstore in Europe, the online bookstore in Great Britain, the online bookstore in Australia, so people can buy it in any of those countries. They have the licensing rights to do that, and they can buy it. So that's where your books are. If you need to change them or see how the sales are going, you can click on the book. It'll tell you when it was imported. You can edit things here, like your rights and your pricing. You can change your price if you want to just pick a different price. You don't have to go through all that other stuff again. You can just choose right here and change your price. I don't want to discourage you with this whole the Apple bookstore. Certainly they're a huge market, and they have a lot of people that are downloading books. And when I offered a book in 3 different formats, I had a number of people that downloaded the Apple version from the Apple bookstore. And it sort of feels good. People can find it on their iPhone or on their iPad. If they just search for Eric Elder in the iBookstore, you'll be able to see a couple of my books pop up there. But it's a little bit more complicated, and the requirements are just a little stricter. So that's the process, though. A very similar process. You're just uploading your e-book file, and you're uploading a cover image that people will see. You're setting your pricing, and you're giving some ISBN numbers and just helping people identify the book. So that's how to get your book on all these 3 different formats: the Kindle, the Barnes & Noble, Nook, as well as on the iPad and iPhone and iPod using the Apple Bookstore. Whew, there we go, through it all. If you have any questions, and I know I went through that last bit quite fast, but I think you'll get the idea of what's going on. If you have questions, you're free to ask them right now. I'll be here for about 10 more minutes. And then I'm going to need to go and get on the road and head back to Champaign, Illinois, to the University of Illinois. And if you watch the game on TV, you can maybe see us down in the horseshoe at the end. But I can take a few more questions here while you're still here. And again, I'll send you a link to this. I've been recording the session, and so if you want to watch it again, I'll send you the link to where you can watch this whole session. Hopefully it's recorded, and hopefully it'll upload just fine. Any other comments or questions, either in the chat room or just on the talking, you can let me know now. And it looks like we're down to 4 more people left. Esther, I see your voice moving, but I don't hear anything coming out here. I see Roger's left us. I think Marilyn had left us earlier. Janet, I see your voice moving, but I don't hear anything coming out either. It shows a little speaker thing, but it's, if you want to type in the chat room, you can. Just hover over the green icon at the very top, and there's a chat button, and you can type. I see Esther said hi to Lana, so that was nice, from Nairobi. I also just realized when I did that iTunes Producer, you may not have been able to see that. I don't know if I shared that screen with you. And I see Esther's still there. Just to thank you for the wonderful class, I now have an idea where to begin. It's terrific, Esther. Thanks so much. You made my day by coming in all the way from Kenya. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in, and I do hope that it helps you in whatever you need to do next with whatever God has on your heart. So thanks for coming. With that, I think I'm going to sign off, and I do hope you have a great day, and root for the Fighting Illini down in Champaign today, that our alma mater would win, and that we have fun with our kids, showing them what the Big Ten school is like. Thanks again for coming. Thanks, Esther, for being there too. And I just pray that anyone watching this too, recorded later, would really just have God's blessing on their project and on their life, and that whatever God calls you to do, that it would be just tremendous for Him and also just a great blessing for you as well. Thanks for coming again. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.